This episode is brought to you by Battleborn Batteries, the best name in the RV and marine industry. These lithium batteries are designed and assembled in the USA, backed by a 10-year warranty. The best solution for your battery anxiety, so go check them out at battlebornbatteries.com.
Whether your adventure is on the road, on the water, or off the grid, Battleborn Batteries keep you out there longer.
You are listening to Beyond the Wheel, a podcast about the people and ideas that drive the RV community forward.
Welcome back to the show. Today we are talking with Paul and Richard from RVnGO. We talked to them last about a year ago, which equates to about 10 years in COVID time. Since then, they have grown their platform and added features that appeal to both people renting RVs and those looking to rent an RV for a vacation or as a potential purchase. They have also done some economic studies on the RV rental market and provide some detail on the market. Also, they have some great partnerships to announce. So let's get into the conversation.
Hey, Paul, welcome back to the show. And for anyone who did not hear our first interview with you, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at RVnGO?
Sure. I'm the founder of RVnGO and the CEO of it. We're based in Scottsdale, Arizona. RVnGO is a peer-to-peer website for renting RVs, sort of like Airbnb, but for RVs. And so anybody who owns an RV can list their RV for rent. And anybody who's looking for an RV to rent it can come on our site and pick through thousands of RVs all over the US and go ahead and rent it. And then we insure every transaction with the industry's leading insurance policy, provides $1 million liability coverage for the drivers. Compare that to other sites that only provide state minimum, which can be as low as $5,000 if, depending on the state you have the accident in. So that's a huge differentiator. And we don't charge any fees. We believe in bringing people together, and so we don't want to charge fees on that. We make money off value-added services like finance, insurance, etc.
So now, last time we talked to you, it was more than a year ago now, I think, and it was obviously pre-COVID. And since the coronavirus has hit the United States, we've noticed, Kenny and I have noticed in the news that RVing is sort of exploding because people are afraid to do airline travel, rightly so, and other means of travel. So RVing is turning out to be the mode of vacationing these days. Have you guys noticed a big impact to your business because of COVID?
The floodgates opened this summer. It was crazy, and it's still going. Wow. Hey, also on the line, I wanted to introduce Richard Salling, who is our Chief Marketing Officer. Actually, Richard brought to my attention the article in National Geographic naming this year the Year of the Camper. Richard, do you want to just kind of talk about that and what we've seen in our own business in just exploding traffic and transactions and rentals?
So as the three of you already know, the summer, it started off slow, but then as people realized they were getting cabin fever and they didn't want to go to a hotel, they couldn't book a flight. All right, well, I don't own an RV, so the next best thing is to rent one. And we saw about 3 times the level of business we saw over the summer. Wow. I'm always looking for articles and what we can share, how we can bring value, and where we can add more information to our guests and to the people who own RVs. And I happened to see this article from National Geographic naming 2020 as the Year of the Camper. And I think this is a breakout year for RVs in general. I mean, people are starting to realize, wow, this is kind of cool to have an RV. And maybe I can't own one because of the price of these, the barrier to entry rather. And so we'll rent one. Or, you know, what a great idea to rent a few different types to determine which one I want to own.
Yeah.
And it's a great way to test which one works best for you. And it's just been phenomenal, and we don't see anything but growth from this point forward.
Yeah. Talking to people in the industry, they literally said everybody across the board, whether they're renting or selling RVs, this was the best summer in 40 years, like nobody in living memory. Nobody, in the history of RVs, it was just such a, there definitely was impact. Actually, part of my background is in economics, and there's acute undersupply. I'm going to share my screen, but for people who might just be listening, this is, I derived this demand and supply curve. So this is the existing marketplace in the US is about $5 billion a year in RV rentals.
Wow.
And I've heard all kinds of estimates that the number of RVs is up to 200,000 units. But there's demand for about 35 million transactions a year. And this is all data before COVID. So, it's a little bit more than that now. And that red line at the top at 1.2 million represents the capacity of those 200,000 units. Looks like a big number, but you'll notice it's by the week. The summer months and the summer weeks are completely sold out. And this is a graph for Southern California, actually. So you do have also a lot of rentals in the 7th, 8th, and 9th week, which is people's spring break. And week 11, which used to be Coachella, that wouldn't be there now. That's just been moved somewhere else. That'll be in week, there's talking about putting that in the fall. But this is what the excess demand looks like pre-COVID. Those green bars, that's what's not being met. It's pretty graphic, isn't it? And
that was one of my questions was, is there still demand on top of that 1.2 billion line? And it looks like there's a lot of demand.
Huge. And you'll notice it's all in the summer and extremely spiky. So July 4th is like the Super Bowl for RVing, etc. But, so it sounds insane. Why wouldn't there be more RVs for rent? And the real reason is because of that seasonality. When you look at that blue area, the red area is larger than the blue area. And if that red capacity line floated up, so if more units got added, the red area increases faster than the blue area. So certainly people can come into the marketplace and get market share and do well. But overall, as more units are being added to the fleet becomes less and less profitable, and somebody will drop off at the bottom. And so when you actually derive the supply curve, it looks like this. So you read it from left to right. If there's less than 100,000 units in the marketplace, it's just going to be too profitable for the people who are in the industry, and more people are going to come into the marketplace. But right at about 175 to 200,000 units, the supply curve crosses over 120 days, average rentals. And that's what you need to do to be profitable. And so as the fleet gets bigger, there's less and less rental days per unit available, and you're going to see people dropping off. So I don't know if that makes sense, but the way people who are thinking of renting their RVs, there's two types of people who would want to rent their RV. There's professional, they're going to run a fleet, they're going to run this like a business, and that's all they have the RV for, is to rent it out. For those people, the way they typically price is they'll take all the cost of running and maintaining and depreciating that RV, all the costs, and divide it by 100, and that's the nightly rate. And so if they rent it out 100 nights, they break even, and they're all striving for 120 nights a year, and that's a 20% profit margin. And that's kind of how they work it. For individuals, it's a little different, but if you rent out your RV on some of the peak weekends, like July 4th and the local, other long weekend, you can pretty much pay for your RV after just 2 or 3 transactions a year. And one of the things we did was, part of this cost curve, so a couple of things that I think COVID has done is it's definitely increased the demand for RVing. So prices did go up. So you're going to see more people coming into the marketplace. It's more profitable for the existing fleets, which is great. But what we did was, on our product, one of the biggest barriers to entry before was you had to have commercial RV rental insurance. And that's expensive, and it was a monthly premium you had to pay as the RV owner, whether you were renting or not. And what we did was we created a variable insurance product. So you only pay the insurance on a nightly basis. So if you're not renting it, you don't pay any premiums. And so that lets individuals come in and just do it a few, casually and really soak up some of this peak demand on July 4th, et cetera. And it also allows fleets to become more profitable and maybe add more units. The other thing we did was we took the premium and we moved it from the price elastic party, the party that really cares about money, which is the party renting out their RV. They're just trying to make money. And we moved it to the party that is less price sensitive. They just want the RV trip. So the guest pays the nightly insurance premium. And on our site, that varies from $70 a night for the really nicest, biggest RV down to $25 a night for the least, trailers and less expensive RVs. And again, we cover $1 million liability, which is unique in the industry, and damage to the RV, if there's an accident. So and that's just been going gangbusters this summer, as you can imagine.
And where is the demand as far as types of RVs? Is it mostly in Class A's, Class C's, travel trailers, fifth wheels? Where are you guys seeing the biggest demand?
On our site, about half the listings are trailers and half of them are motorhomes, but about 91% of inquiries by number and 95% by value are for motorhomes. They are by far the most popular. And of those, the Class C's are the most popular. So that's the ones, with the bunk over the driver. I think it's because we see two kinds of people renting RVs primarily. I mean, there's all kinds, but if you're going to generalize, there's either the family looking for the family vacation, and so the kids sleep in the Class C in the bunk above the cabin, so it works out great for them. Or maybe millennials or younger people looking for an experience. They just want to unplug. They've maybe never gone camping before in their life or never left the city and looking for that experience. And then again, it might be 4 or 6 or 8 people who kind of go together, have a party. And so there the bunk space is important. And again, the Class C's are very popular. And particularly what's called, a bunkhouse, where there's extra bunks in there so it could accommodate 8 people on that camping trip. And, it's just a good time.
Yeah, I think typically also the Class C's are less intimidating compared to the larger Class A's, or even towing a travel trailer if you've never done it before, or a fifth wheel or something like that.
Yeah.
So Class C is a great way for people to kind of step into RVing and experience it and kind of slowly get their bearings.
And maybe I'll take you to the site and just show you how easy it is to find an RV to rent. So this is our homepage, and right here you can search by the class in your area. So let's just say Class C, and bam, it's all the Class C's that are in your zip code. So right now I was looking at Atlanta, Georgia, but there's an example.
Yeah, that does make it easy. That's nice.
Yeah.
So you guys really rent pretty much anything. I mean, the large Class A's to just everything, huh?
All kinds. And we have some really cool Class A's on there. Some that are, I'd have to find it. I don't know, Richard, if you want to find it and maybe share your screen. It's like a rock and roll RV, completely juried
like
out.
A tour bus?
Yeah, like a rock and roll tour bus. Nice. And the host will actually drive it for you and get you there because it is so huge and so intimidating. If you go to our site, here's our little...
I like that kind of service.
Yeah, driver included.
I mean, driving, I'm sure for most people, is the scary part of it. A vehicle, especially like you're talking about a rock and roll tour bus size, that's going to intimidate 90% of the population if they've never driven.
Yeah.
Something. I mean, some people are just like, whatever, I'll take it on, but.
Hey, I just want to show you then something that's a really good point. But another thing that we're seeing a lot of our hosts do is they'll deliver the RV. So you just pull up, even if it's a trailer. So this is a real popular feature for trailers, and you can search by that. You can filter whether delivery is available, and then you'll only see RVs where the host is willing to deliver them. And that's super popular. You don't have to tow the trailer. You just pull up with your Volkswagen Beetle or whatever you're driving, and it's all set up and done professionally, so you don't have to worry about it. So that's another nice feature. And hosts usually will do that, if it's within 50 miles or whatever.
This is a peer-to-peer rental, but you, RVnGO, is really facilitating the transaction like you said, with the insurance and other things. So you're collecting the renter's information. And is that a pretty easy process? Oh, I see this rock and roll RV. Yeah,
I think this might be it.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Pretty fancy there.
I love that it comes with the driver. That's the biggest headache of RVing sometimes is the actual drive.
Right.
That's nice.
So this is a fun one. Yeah, so we take care of everything. You can see right here, you specify your dates, and then you can this one has all kinds of add-ons like a PA sound system. I'm sure people would appreciate that when you roll up to the campsite and put a concert on, and it just adds it all up. And this one's expensive because it is, real high end.
Yeah.
It's just an awesome product, but that's not typical.
What about miles, Paul? How is that something that's based from person to person of the renter of how far somebody's allowed to take the RV?
Yeah, I mean, this is a great question. Each host really sets their own prices and their own policies. Obviously, there's no miles for trailers, but for motorhomes, there's typically a certain number of miles included per day, and we see typically there 100 or more miles per day. And if you do go over that, then there's a mileage charge. But also, some hosts, it's really part of the discussion with the host, how far are you going to go with this RV? Because even though there's a surcharge on the mileage, some hosts may not want a very long trip. We have other hosts that don't mind at all. Like we have a couple of really large fleets on our platform, and I'll go back to showing you in the search results. You can also search by one-way rentals. We have El Monte on our site, which is the second largest fleet. We have a couple of other large fleets. And for instance, El Monte has almost 40 locations across the US, so you can rent an RV to go from one place to another. And so you can do one-way rentals. And we're also, I believe, unique in letting people search for that because we're really, frankly, the only site where there's large fleets because, we don't have any fees. So if you're going to be on the internet, you might as well be on RVnGO.
Have you found that typically somebody that say they're just doing this on the side, maybe a little bit, maybe they have an RV, they're renting it out when they're not using it. Do you find that they enjoy it so much that they make this a little bit more than just a side thing and grow from that one? Do they purchase a second one and do it? Yeah. That's what I would think.
Yeah, no, I have. There's a great story about that. One of our hosts, I actually did a TV interview with her, and that was exactly her story. She had a large Class A. Her husband got sick, and they weren't able to use it anymore, and she couldn't really sell it. And it was just sitting there, so she decided to rent it out, and it went so well, not only to help her meet her bills, she now has 5 RVs. And, that's about as much as she is comfortable doing herself. And so she's renting it out, and that's really her main source of income and for them in retirement. And so,
good for her.
So that's very typical story. The other one is, somebody may have bought their RV and maybe not using it as much as they want. So just rent it out on weekends, and then you don't mind it sitting there not being used because it's paying for itself. It's a little bit more bitter pill to swallow if it's sitting there and draining cash from you.
Now, I did see when we were looking at that fancy RV, the lists of everything that's included in the pricing was very clear on that tab. And one of the things I saw in there was a Dream Trips member discount.
Yeah, we just announced this. We're really excited about it. If you're a Dream Trips member, and that's one of the largest private travel clubs in the world, we've arranged a special discount for those members when they're on our site. So if you join Dream Trips, it's worth it just to join Dream Trips and get your discount on that. And we've got a few other travel clubs that are coming. So Dream Trips is like Expedia, but there's a membership fee for it. But for that, you get some pretty amazing discounts and deals.
Okay. I'm not familiar with Dream Trips. I don't know if Kenny is or not, but
no, actually, I'm not.
Yeah, so
stumped us both.
It's so we just announced that 2 weeks ago, and we're pretty excited about it. So now it's a tab on their platform.
And so people that are Dream Trips members that maybe from Europe or South America, if they're planning a trip to the US and they want to do some RVing, like we had some friends from France that came over and rented. If they were Dream Trips members now, they could just go on here and do all of their planning right from this one website.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that special discount makes it cheaper than anything, even if you went direct, because again, we don't charge any fees, and on top of that, there's the discount. So really came through.
I was curious, Paul, when COVID hit, so this year, RVing in general was supposed to take a small dive because it's been on such a high for a long period of time. COVID came around, everything actually flipped for RVing and it started to increase. Did you guys have to change strategy at all for the direction the company was going? Because maybe you guys were expecting it to slow down, but it actually did the opposite and pick up. Did you have to change strategy?
Yeah, and traditionally, RVing is a good leading indicator of a coming recession, right? It's a luxury good. It's the first thing you're going to cut out. It's the first thing you're not going to buy if things are getting tough. With COVID, we, other than N95 mask manufacturers, we're probably as COVID friendly an industry as possible right now, RVing across the board. And we did have to change a few strategies, Richard, in marketing in particular. We had marketing campaigns around events that obviously got canceled. So we did change our strategy there, but the basic business plan strategy has always stayed the same. We believe in bringing people together, and because of that, we don't charge fees, and it just took off. So we definitely had a bit of a tailwind as well.
Okay.
And there was also a bit of education, because when COVID first hit, nobody really understood what it was, and there was a lot of misinformation out there around it. So we were educating not only the guests, but the hosts that RVing is still one of the safest ways to travel and still maintain what I call physical distancing, not social distancing. But it's still very safe and much safer than a lot of other activities, because you can be remote.
We also have got CDC guidelines adopted for RVing, so hosts are encouraged to provide the gold standard, which is the cleaning of the RV, disinfecting every surface, and then on the morning of pickup, disinfecting every surface again, high touch. And it's not that hard to do an RV. It only takes 15, 20 minutes, a lot easier than a hotel room or a hotel, which you can't really clean that way. And then close it and then greet the guests with masks and gloves. And nobody's touched that RV, since it's been disinfected until the family takes it on their trip. And then, of course, you're camping and distancing there. You're just within your bubble.
And so I actually have a question for Richard while we're talking about marketing and education. So I met you at a show in March, pre-COVID, of course. But when you're focusing your marketing now because of this big surge in RVing, has it shifted? Like, are you marketing more towards RV owners versus prospective renters, or is there still a balance in who you're actually marketing RVnGO to?
Excellent question. So there's always been a balance. And now that we're seeing the traditional off season for RVing, we're shifting more towards bringing on more fleet owners to our platform to adopt us in addition to whatever they're doing now. Mm-hmm. And we're trying to do it the smart way, because there's a couple of other big gorillas in the industry, right? Mm-hmm. Don't need to mention their names.
Right.
We all know who they are. So we need to be a lot smarter and craftier with how we market and how we get in front of people. So we're reaching people where they normally are anyway, and having those natural conversations and offering our value proposition for them, whether they're hosts or guests. But yes, right now, this is our normal time to start shifting our focus on attracting more hosts.
Okay.
And saying, hey, remember all of that stuff that happened over the summer? You were too busy to talk to us. Well, now's a great time to see what we have to offer. And our current hosts who weren't fully adoptive, now they saw how many leads they were getting and how much more they were getting paid per booking through our platform versus others. And they're like, okay, you know what? We're going to adopt more. Now that we have time to actually add more of our fleet onto your platform, now is the time we're going to start doing that.
Yeah, the big differentiator is other platforms take 30% out of the system in fees. We don't. So the hosts get 100% of their booking. Normally it's a 20% fee to them. So, and that's why a lot of the fleets have resisted those other platforms and gone out alone. And we've really changed that paradigm. And that's why we got the Dream Trips arrangement and the exclusivity, because we have the capacity. We have big fleets on our site who are more than happy to, not pay fees and use our insurance and use our platform. And so it's also now getting to the point where if a host fully adopts our platform, they tend to double their profit. So, I talked about that 20% profit margin. Well, about 12 to 15% of revenue is your insurance costs per year. Mm-hmm. And by adopting us and dropping your monthly premium and letting the guest pay the nightly rate, right there is 12 to 15% in increased profit. We don't take any fees. Also, we cover the credit card processing fees. So that's usually 3% for them. So that's another 3%. And not only did we shift the insurance, but we also shifted the deductible to the guest, because our thinking is, look, the host didn't do anything wrong. They didn't break the RV. They didn't crash it. So the guest did. And we want the guest to be more careful. The deductible is on them. So that's another huge savings for hosts, that they don't have to pay the deductible. And then we'll go after. And then our traffic's just been increasing. Richard's done a fantastic job. We're doubling every 2 to 3 weeks in our organic traffic and skyrocketing up. So our hosts, we were blowing up their phones this summer with leads and transactions and booking them up. And that's still continuing at a healthy pace, which is exciting.
So because you cover the insurance, or the guest covers the insurance, but it's an insurance that you guys developed, sort of a proprietary insurance.
Yeah, it's our product. We own it. It's underwritten by Lloyd's of London and an underwriter in the US for the auto liability portion. So do you ever turn people away because of their maybe like high risk driving record or something like that? Is that something that RVnGO does, or is that the responsibility of the host? No, we check everybody's driver's license, and they need a North American driver's license, Canada or US. And there's a few Western Europe countries we accept. Other than that, we don't accept that. And we've just found an extremely high accident rate when somebody comes from a country with, just very small cars, and then they go rent an RV and they just plow it into something. So we take that responsibility. We check the driver's license. Also, you need to certify to us that you've never had a DUI, etc.
Yeah. So the host really doesn't have to worry about that, because they've been validated sort of before they're allowed to rent.
We've vetted them as best as we can. Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then we even updated that process. We now have a third-party app that uses your smartphone. You basically upload a picture of your driver's license, front and back, and then you take a selfie, upload it, and it's within less than a minute. And then all of that gets back checked for the driving record, all that. And it's very seamless for the guest.
Oh, that's good too.
That makes it easy, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that insurance is your product, have you guys ever thought about, or maybe you already do, will you offer this to just the general public or the general RV owners, or will it always just be part of the rental program?
We actually have 3 kinds of transactions that hosts can do. So the general one is a guest comes on and looks around and sends an inquiry. And I want to point out too, we're a true peer-to-peer platform. We don't shop that inquiry around. Other platforms do. They intercept it, and the RV owner that was supposed to get that inquiry never gets it, and they sent it off to somebody else. If that host declines, then we try and place that guest with another RV that's like it, but we work with the guest, sort of like our concierge team does that. The other way a transaction can happen is the host, and I'll show you, this is a really powerful feature. The host can initiate a transaction themselves. So when they go to their fleet, they can actually start transactions. I would just enter the first name, last name, and email address, And then they can send that as, basically a PO to a guest they may have. So it might be somebody in their Rolodex or their database, and they want to send them a quote so they can initiate the transaction. And the last one we do, and we have a few fleets that do this, actually competing listing sites that, but they're smaller. It's an insurance-only transaction. So if you originate the transaction on Facebook or whatever, you already had it booked, you can just come on here and just get the insurance for that transaction. You need to list your RV, and then you just do an insurance-only transaction. So in that way, it is open to everyone, but you do need to go through our platform. That's the system that kind of checks it. So the public can come in, but they just have to join our platform.
Boy, that second feature you showed with a person being able to initiate, with a owner being able to initiate a transaction with a renter, that I think that's really cool. And it does show that it really is true peer-to-peer, it seems like to me, when you're able to do that yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And one other feature here in the host dashboard, we give the hosts their guests. So it's like your own customer relationship manager. So this is a test account, but anybody who's rented from you, you can just go back and see what they've rented and ask, send them another quote. They're in your system. You can export it. You can. We want you to be able to run your business right out of here. Basically, this is the only software you need to run your business other than accounting software. We just couldn't be bothered to rewrite QuickBooks.
Yeah.
I wanted to go back to what Rich was talking about, the driver's license verification through an app. When you guys create an app like that, is that in-house? Do you guys have your own? I'm not technical at all. I would have no idea how to create an app. Is that something that you guys can do yourself, or do you outsource it?
We shopped that around and looked at the best software options out there, and we went with a company called Kacir, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. But,
thanks.
Kacir.
Yeah, so they're a third-party provider, and it's like a plugin. It still says RVnGO, it's checking your driver's license, but it's a very specialized job there, which is interfacing with the Canadian and U.S. Databases for driver's licenses, and some international. So that was specialized, but everything else is ours. So the site is obviously ours. We've got our own in-house development team. It took longer, but we built it from scratch. All the code is ours, and there's no templates used or real plugins. So we can really change quite quickly and do what we want to do, and optimize for mobile phones as well, devices as well, tablets and desktops. For instance, we're going to be introducing very soon, you can list your RV for sale, whether it's new or used, on our platform as well. We just know a lot of people bought RVs this summer, but now they're getting to the fall and, okay, it's sitting on my driveway again. Maybe I want to sell it again or move on. We also see a lot of our hosts, especially dealerships, basically having, lease to own RVs or rent to own. So, and you can actually rent the exact RV you're thinking of buying. You try it out for a week. Okay, I like it. I'm buying it. And so we'll be unique that way, where you can also search by RVs that are available for rent to own. So if you want to try out a specific RV before committing to buying it. And we just found a lot of sales dealerships lend out RVs that way, but now they can do it really, all in, organized, and have full insurance and just a lot easier to lend out RVs to try out that they wouldn't have been able to do before, unless they went out and bought the commercial rental insurance, and they don't have to do that anymore with RVnGO.
And the RV sales, they'll be on the same website, same site? Oh, that's nice.
RVnGO would be a slightly different landing page, but you can search by RVs that are for rent, for sale, or both, rent to own RVs. So we're really excited about that. There's about $45 billion of RV sales every year in the US. About half of that is new and half of that is used. And really, there's no platform out there other than Craigslist in the auto section to list RVs. So the only thing you can sort by is mileage and year. This way, it'll be all the filters. If you need an RV with an outside TV, you can specifically look for that. If you need a Class A, Class B, you can sort for that year, make, model. So we're excited about that. I think that's going to, again, we don't do anything in there. It's all free. And just our software is scalable. We said, let's provide the service to people, and we just let people get together and they decide how to buy or sell. We don't get in the middle of that or take any fees. We just let them communicate together. We believe in bringing people together. So bring people together that might want to buy or sell RVs, and just let them go. Let them have.
You guys have been really busy since the last time we talked to you, and you've been putting a lot into your company, into the RVnGO brand. You guys, I'm really impressed with just everything that you've been doing, and that you strive. I thought your program was awesome last year, but you guys could have just left it the way it was. I'm pretty impressed that you guys continue to build upon that and make it even better. Who knew it could be better, but continue to go with it.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, I think I'm just very proud of the team and what we've executed and what we've done, and it's just been great. I'm really looking forward to this off season. I don't think it'll be much of an off season for us.
No, it doesn't sound like it.
The best is yet to come.
That's right.
And then you also, I don't know if you can talk about it yet or not, but you have another partnership coming with SkyMed.
Yeah. Same idea as World Ventures. So SkyMed, it's actually called SkyMed Travel, and they have a travel site. And SkyMed is actually a Phoenix-based company as well. I've known the CEO for a few years now, and we just decided this is a really good time to work together. So first of all, we're going to be selling people who want to buy SkyMed travel insurance can. And what they cover is basically evacuation coverage in case of a medical emergency. So really great for RVers. And they will fly you to the nearest hospital, or if you need to go home, if you're Canadian, they will fly you all the way home as part of their insurance policy. So as I was showing you before, you can now select that. So you can select roadside assistance. That's a 24/7 third-party service, and it covers a breakdown in the RV and towing to the nearest suitable repair shop. And now we'll have travel insurance as well, which would cover a medical insurance. It's not very much. It's a great product. They're the best product in the marketplace. And then they have another site, and it's an interesting story. They're a great company, and because of all the air evacs they do, they're actually their own airline, and they can book directly with the Sabre system that runs all airline bookings. So they have a seat at that table. And so on their SkyMed Travel, they now will provide those same level of benefits to their membership at really inexpensive flights and car rentals, and now RV rentals. And it's going to be the same thing. So anybody who's a SkyMed member will get that benefit.
Yeah, and I know some people, we talk to a lot of RVers, and some people, that is a hesitancy of theirs to take a long distance RV trip is, I have some health issues. What if something goes wrong while I'm away? Now, if you can rent an RV with some, that you want to take out on some type of trip and add that SkyMed, that's just a peace of mind that you wouldn't otherwise have. So
yeah, we really want people to have a great time RVing, and so we didn't want to get in the way of that with any fees. We believe in taking middlemen out, not adding them back in, and taking care of them with real insurance instead of some of the not worth the paper it's written on insurance out there. And roadside assistance, to take away that peace of mind in case you have a breakdown. And on that roadside assistance too, they're trained on all the RVs, and you can get help there too. It's like, I can't remember how to turn on the microwave, or whatever. So it's also that kind of help. And now the travel insurance, the peace of mind if you do have a medical emergency, that it's not going to bankrupt you.
Yeah, and it's convenient because it's a one-stop shop,
Yep.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to 3 or 4 different sites to get it all arranged.
Yeah.
And then go buy that RV, rent to own.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, your first thought as a guest is the vacation, right? And so we want to go that extra mile, pun intended, to make it just as easy and simple to rent an RV as the rest of your trip.
Yeah, you guys really are creating wonderful experiences for people. People dream about RVing all the time, and maybe they're nervous or scared about what the first step is. I would say now the first step is to go to RVnGO.
Yeah, I mean, 2 things. Yeah, if you want to rent an RV, I think I showed you how easy it is. But also, if you want to make money on your RV, it's super easy to list an RV. It really takes 5 minutes. And once you're listed, you then get the host dashboard and some things we provide here for our host too. You can click this button and it'll give you the embed code to put on your own website. So
that's cool.
Right there. If you need to block dates, really simple. Like I want to take it out, this is for this. Now those dates are blocked and are no longer available to search. Super easy, but I'll show you. It's just 7 steps to list it. So step 1 is just the basic info, and probably the thing that takes the most time is going down and taking a photo of your VIN number and getting that in here. Just basic info. Then just declaring how much insurance you're going to need, $200,000. But if you have a less expensive RV, maybe it's only worth $10,000 or there's lower levels, and then the premiums are lower as well. Mm-hmm. Then just any details, and here for rent or for sale. And this is where and then the pricing. And so so it's already built for purchase price and nightly rate, your rates. And this is a really powerful feature too. Let's say you want to do an add-on. You can basically describe anything, put a price to it, and describe it. So maybe it's a delivery service, maybe it's a kitchen package, maybe it's, something like that. And this was your question about, what miles are included, and you set it all here as a host. Is there a generator? How many free hours? And is there a towing? Because some RVs, you can tow a car behind it. You can upload a video. You can upload your photos, very simple. And then features, what does it have? And then finish, that's it. So it's as easy as that. And we have 2 programs. We have just by listing your RV, you get 100% of your booking because we don't take any fees. But if you refer somebody and they list their RV, we'll pay you a $100 referral fee for doing that. And you can go to our site and get a link, or when they list their RV, enter your email and you'll get that $100 fee for referring that listing. And we also pay a $50 fee for somebody who refers a guest to our site and they book. So those 2 affiliate programs are out there.
And do you guys have any recommended pricing, or do you leave it entirely up to the owner?
It's entirely up to the owners, but what we recommend to them, and we have a blog, and one of the articles is RV Rental School, how to rent your RV. And that's where I talk about if you're going to do this full time, one rule of thumb is divide your price by 100, and that's your nightly rate. The other thing we recommend you do is just do a search for your kind of RV in that area and just see what people are pricing it at. And then you got to decide, is it nicer? Is it worth more of a higher price? Is it not as nice? Okay, let's be realistic here. Don't overprice it. And so that's the 2 things we recommend to kind of get a sense of it.
And then I have one additional question related to that. When a guest rents from somebody, is there something on your site where they can leave a review of the experience?
At the end of the rental, we invite both parties to leave a review and rate each other.
Oh, both parties.
Yep.
Oh.
And that really helps us, when that driver comes back and had a great experience and didn't damage the RV, everybody's a little bit more confident.
Yeah, that's true.
I had a question about the video, Paul. You can post photos of your RV and video. Have you noticed by any chance the people that are taking the time to post a video? I would think I would be more attracted to the video. Have you found that to be the case? Are people more interested in the RVs where people are taking the time to make the video?
I think so. I'm just trying to find that one. That rock and roll RV had an actual video posted to it. That's obviously great to see. Like a complete walkthrough would be to see. So I think we're unique that way too. Other sites don't even permit videos. And that'll be now also for sale listings. So if you're selling RV, you can have pictures and a video,
That's great.
Well, I don't think we have any additional. Well, Kenny looks like he might have one.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's been great talking to you guys, and yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming back on, and like Kenny said, we're excited to see the growth that you guys have done. It's just gets more and more impressive every time we talk to you. So we really appreciate you coming back on. and look forward to talking to you again if you have time for us in the future.
No, we were going to have some other stuff. We've got other stuff cooking and coming down the pipe. So we've got the for sale RVs, we've got World Ventures and SkyMed, and there'll be a few others. It's exciting. And again, Richard and the whole team have just been great at executing and supporting. And the other nice thing is when you call us, you actually get through.
That is nice.
There's somebody there to pick up the phones, and our call center isn't in the Philippines. It's all right here in the USA. It's right in Scottsdale, actually. And we've made a strategic decision to anywhere where we touch the customer, we have to control that. So we actually don't control the RV, right? Like we're depending on the host to deliver that. It's not like Hilton that can, specify what thread count on the sheets because they buy it. We can't control that, but we certainly guide our hosts, and they're incented to do as great a trip as they can, because then they'll get higher rating, and that's actually how you get sorted. The default sort is the hosts with better ratings get shown first on our site. So it's kind of
okay.
It's sort of like the same idea as Airbnb, but
yeah.
So our customers touch the software. So we decided to really control that. We didn't outsource it. It's all in-house. We built it. That's our code. The other place we touch, come in contact with the customer is our call center. And so, it's all in-house. We control it. We have the tickets. It's not outsourced. Those are full-time employees of RVnGO delivering on our brand, on our values, and on our beliefs.
Kenny and I were just talking yesterday in a side conversation we were having about a lot of companies now, a lot of online companies, I should say, are doing away with a call center and just having email responses. And that is so frustrating as a user to have to just type out an email. And sometimes you can't really express your problem very well in an email. And then it takes a few emails to get it fixed. So I bet users can appreciate having somebody they can reach out to and actually talk through a problem.
So we have really all three channels. There's a toll-free phone number, there's a chat support, and you can chat, and then email if you want to go down that route. And we have a great help desk software system, and it's integrated with our CRM and our platform. So we have a record of every interaction a guest or a host may have had with us, and go back on issues and things like that. So we've also built out all those business systems to support the company and create a great experience.
Yeah.
It's interesting you say that, because as a marketer, I'm always looking at the demographic trends, and we definitely see people under 40 who are more interested in renting versus owning. Mm-hmm. I'm also seeing more comfort level with email or chat versus an actual phone call or face-to-face interaction with younger folks. But people like me and our generation, we're still old to have a talk. So we use all of those to cater to our wide audience. But yes, I totally agree. There's a lot of things that just get missed in a chat or a text.
Yeah.
And even the use of chat bots, where there's automated responses. Yes, we could do that, but what sets us apart is our customer service. I mean, we call it concierge for a reason, because it's that higher level of customer experience.
Yeah, we care.
Yeah,
we really do care, and we'll help you try and find an RV if the first inquiry didn't go through because the host wasn't available or whatever. We'll help you with your dream trip.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys taking the time.
Yeah, it's great talking to you again.
RVnGO is really your one-stop shop for when renting an RV. They really have streamlined the process, and I love their business model of not taking money from the renter and the rentee. It was also interesting to hear how COVID-19 is not only affecting RV sales, but the rental industry as well. I often tell people that renting an RV is a great way to try out RVing to see if you like it. And as Paul and Richard say, it is a great way to try different RVs out before making that big purchase. If you own an RV and would like to start making some income, or if you are thinking of getting into RVing, we definitely recommend checking out RVnGO and seeing just how easy it is to get started. Take care and safe travels, everyone. This episode is brought to you by Battleborn Batteries, the best name in the RV and marine industry. These lithium batteries are designed and assembled in the USA, backed by a 10-year warranty. The best solution for your battery anxiety. So go check them out at battlebornbatteries.com.